I really need a wife.
My father-in-law needs a wife, and he really wants to get married. My father-in-law, yes, my husband's dad, asked me to find him a wife. He even told me more than once to go and find someone for him. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but one thing was clear. He couldn't stay single. I never imagined that one day, I would be asked to find a wife for my father-in-law. Yes, you read that correctly. My husband's father, my father-in-law, came to me one morning with a very serious expression on his face. Come on, my dear. If any of your friends have widowed mothers, or women who haven't married yet, introduce me, he said, almost whispering yet firm. I wanted to laugh, but my face had to stay serious. Inside though I was thinking, asterisk, life really knows how to surprise you. Asterisk. He wasn't young anymore, but his heart was still vibrant, full of curiosity. His eyes sparkled with a mischievous glint I had only seen when he was younger. He hated silence, hated the quiet of an empty house. Every time we had tea together, he would casually bring it up again and again. Every time it seemed accidental. No one should grow old alone, my dear, he would sigh, leaning back, a deep heaviness in his chest. At first, I thought he was joking, but soon I realized this wasn't a joke. This wasn't just a passing thought or a whim. It was a need, a yearning for companionship. And as absurd as it sounded, I started imagining scenarios. Would he actually find someone? Would this woman accept an older man? Would she laugh at him for even asking? Then came the moments that made me shake my head in disbelief. My father-in-law was determined, hopeful, and a little awkward, but his eyes held a kind of sincerity that melted anyone's doubts. I started to feel protective, maybe a little excited, because life was about to become extremely unusual, and I somehow was going to be part of it. Everything happened on a completely ordinary day. My father-in-law had gone to buy a newspaper, a small, dusty store at the corner of the street, with familiar smells of paper and ink. Nothing unusual, just a man buying a paper lost in his routine. Except destiny was waiting there. In the store he saw her, the woman he had loved in his youth, the one he had dreamed of, the one he had imagined walking down the street with him, laughing at the smallest things, but life had torn them apart. She married someone else back then, someone he had never met, someone fate had chosen. Now she was widowed. Her husband had passed away quietly, leaving her with memories and the occasional pang of loneliness. And then came the moment. Their eyes met. Two glances heavy with recognition, nostalgia, and something almost magical. Two silences that spoke louder than words ever could. And then they began talking. First awkwardly, then slowly as if peeling back layers of years. Laughter mixed with shy smiles, then stories about their lives, the kids they didn't know existed, the dreams they had lost. It was like the universe had pressed pause, then rewound the tape just for them. A chance to continue a story that life had interrupted decades ago. And all the while, my mind was spinning. Asterisk, this is insane, this is unbelievable, but also, kind of beautiful. After a few long conversations, a few cups of tea shared in that tiny store, my father-in-law became serious. He looked at her with a mixture of nerves and hope. Would you marry me? He asked. Let's have a wedding, just us, he added, his hands slightly trembling. And she said yes. I couldn't believe it. Her heart, still tender, still full, had a space for him. His heart had never stopped hoping. And the funniest part? Our family had already scheduled a big wedding celebration for another reason. So on the same day, in the same ceremony, my father-in-law and mother-in-law wore the bride and groom outfits. My kids went wild. Look, the bride and groom are coming. Mom, Dad, they're so pretty. Screams of laughter, running around, jumping, hugging each other. And I couldn't stop laughing either. It was chaotic, emotional, hysterical, and perfect. The priest almost couldn't keep a straight face. The guests were whispering, some were crying, some were laughing. It felt like the universe had created a second chance in full technicolor. And everyone was part of the spectacle. Even my husband couldn't hide his grin. It was like seeing a romantic comedy unfold right in front of our eyes, except it was real life. After the wedding, life took on a new rhythm. My father-in-law is no longer stubborn, grumpy, or distant. He jokes. He teases. He laughs. He whispers funny things to her, and she responds in kind. Sometimes I catch them giggling like teenagers, leaning on each other for support while grocery shopping. Their happiness spills over to everyone around. Neighbors peek through windows, smiling, whispering about how adorable they are. At first I worried. Asterisk, will this feel strange? Will it seem awkward? Asterisk. But those fears vanished quickly. Seeing them holding hands while cooking, watching old movies together, or simply sitting quietly with intertwined fingers, it's a joy unlike anything else. I often hear them whispering little jokes to each other, playful remarks, teasing smiles. Sometimes, late at night, I hear laughter echoing through the house as they share stories from decades ago, remembering the silly things they did in their youth. And somehow it's contagious. I find myself smiling more, my husband smiling more, the children running around in a state of pure glee. It's like happiness has become the family's background music. Fate, it seems, has a strange but beautiful sense of humor. It brought them together again after all these years. It made their hearts meet, recognize each other, and create something stronger than before. Sometimes I catch them dancing in the living room, slow and clumsy, giggling at each other's mistakes. Sometimes they sit quietly sipping tea, sharing a glance that says, "We made it." Sometimes I catch them holding hands while watching the sunset, the kind of love that doesn't need words. As their daughter-in-law, I am amazed. Their joy radiates, infects the house, makes even the smallest moments magical. And the lesson is clear. True love never forgets. Happiness can come twice, or maybe even more. Watching them, I've learned that life can surprise you in ways you never imagine. It can make you laugh, cry, and cheer, all at once. And in this house, surrounded by love, mischief, laughter, and second chances, I feel something I didn't know was possible. Hope, wonder, and the warm glow of true happiness. Yes, life is unpredictable, and yes, sometimes impossible. But sometimes, just sometimes, it is perfectly, beautifully, miraculously possible.